I just wanted to do a quick video on how to get started with acrylic flow art or pour art. I have a studio. I have an art studio. There's my kids back there playing. Wave. Hey. And so I teach a lot of different types of art, but this right here has become my new favorite. And I haven't been doing it very long, so I'm just going to teach a really quick what I have learned since I've gotten started. This is the brand that I use. I get it from Hobby Lobby. It's only $6.99. This is the acrylic base that I use. And the white that you use is incredibly important. I also use this. And that's where I got it from. I use Elmer's school glue. People recommend not to use school glue, and they recommend to use glue all. But I'm a rebel. I also use Floetrol. You get this from Lowe's or Home Depot. And it helps thin out. It's a paint additive. It helps thin out, and it's a cheaper form to use to extend your paint when you're making your flow, you're making your pour art, pour acrylic. Okay, this is what I use for silicone. There's lots of different things that you can use to achieve cells in your pour art, and what I mean by cells is how the paint separates and makes these little bubble-like things, and you can see the colors underneath. Here's another one right here. I do not use a torch. Some people use a torch, but because I typically teach children, I don't use a torch because it releases toxic chemicals. And you can see on this one, you can see cells as well. Okay, so I'm going to do a little quick demonstration on how I mix, and I'm going to use one of my kids to take over the camera to help me. I poured in a little bit of the acrylic paint that I use is very thick, and so this is it right here. The way you mix paints, it's all going to kind of depend on how thick it is, the amount of water, the amount of glue, the amount of Floetrol that you all add. So my recipe isn't going to necessarily be the same as your recipe. I need you to film this container right here and don't move, please. Okay, so filled it up to about right there. I'm going to do I'm going to do the same amount of glue to acrylic paint. Whoa! Well, in this case, I kind of didn't, did I? I'm pouring some of that back. Okay, so that's about glue to paint ratio. Make sure, I'm going to put some Floetrol in. Make sure you shake that joker up. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of that. I would say it's half of the amount of glue or half of the amount of Floetrol. I mean, glue or paint. So glue and paint is equal, and then half the amount of Floetrol. And then I add water to the correct consistency. Continue to film this right here, please. And this one right here, only this one. Okay, so I'm going to add just a little bit of water because I know I'm going to need it. And then stir. One thing that I look for is if the color of the paint in any way changed, lightened, if it looks too transparent even, I just add more paint. Okay, so I've done this. This so far is too thick. So I need to add more water. You gotta hold this still, Alina, so you don't make people sick. Okay. And I still think that this is a little bit too thick. So I got a little more water. Still, that's borderline. That might be okay. The most important consistency is the consistency of your white. If it's too thick, it does weird things. If it's too thin, it does weird things. So you got to get your white the right consistency. I'd say that's about the right consistency. And so that's how I hope I communicated that effectively. That's how I mix colors. Okay. What I'm gonna do next